Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for tuning into this week's episode here at Mobile Outdoor. Today, we'll be doing some fossil hunting / rockhounding in this big pile of landscaping rock. When I was here just a few weeks ago, there was tons of different material to find, some of which include agates, diorites, dendritic crystals, crinoids, brachiopods, and most notable, the coral fossils. And the reason why I point out the coral fossils specifically is because in rock like this, they just seem to fossilize exceptionally well, and they look super cool. So you can bet we're going to be on the lookout for more of those and a whole lot more. Now, I'm sure you guys don't need me to tell you this, but hunting through this type of rock is a luxury. I don't even have to lean over all the way to pick up the rocks. And when I do find something, it's usually pretty special. So, let's see what we got. Some of the first finds of the day include this odd looking but really cool brachiopod fossil. Or, you know what? Maybe it's not a brachiopod fossil. The more I look at it, it could be some sort of banded chert. I'm not exactly sure though. Either way, it looks really cool. Up next, we have a heavily crystallized favosite coral fossil. Now, as many of you know, I love favosite coral fossils, and I especially love when they're crystallized, because oftentimes they can hold small details that you don't even see until you get them under the camera. But unfortunately, I'm not really seeing anything too crazy this time around. Except for the top looks pretty cool. And then here we have one of these weird banded rocks. Now the reason why it's oddly banded is because you can see the white right here. But then as we flip it around, you go into more of this micro quartz type stuff, and you can still see the banding. So I don't know if this is some type of fossil or a weird sedimentary rock. Either way, it's super cool, and I'll be looking into this more as time goes on. The next piece we have here is unmistakably some banded chert. Now, this thing is probably the best example that I have ever found. It has that nice waxy color, and those black and white lines just speak for themselves. This is super cool. Then, right after I picked up that nice piece of banded chert, we got our hands on a decent coral fossil. As you can see here, it has a nice side profile all the way around the rock. Unfortunately, the tops aren't in very good condition, but the sides were just captivating. Up next, we have this really cool looking rock that my friend split for me. Now, to be honest, I have no idea what this is, and about the only thing I can say right now is that it has some nice orthoclast in it. If I find out any more information, I will let you guys know down in a text box below. But I just wanted to look at how cool this is. And my friend actually ended up splitting a handful of rocks for me that day, some of which we'll go check out right now. Here we have a nice little geode that we just found. I'm gonna have my friend over here crack it and see what's on the inside. I'm not expecting too much, but it should be pretty interesting. So let's go do it. So, here's the geode that my friend just cracked, or at least what we could find of it. Huge shout out to him for doing this, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to crack it on site. Now, in hindsight, I should have told him to hit it a little less harder, but either way, it accomplished its job. So let's take a look at it. Here's the first of several pieces we'll take a look at. As you can see, we have some nice crystal there at the top with a deep orange color, although it's not really coming through on camera. I believe this orange color is just iron staining, but the geology on these landscaping rocks gets kind of lost because you never really know where this stuff comes from exactly. But either way, it's super cool. Here's another chunk of that geode. You can really see how much it's sparkling here. Super awesome. This also marks the first geode there that we have found to have a cavity. So that is super neat as well, because that means there just might be more. We'll have to wait and see. So here we are again with a nice piece of diorite. And it doesn't look like much right now, but when you crack these rocks, they look super sparkly on the inside. So we're going to go ahead and let my friend try and crack this rock, and he can hit it as hard as he wants because these things are relatively tough to crack. Here's that piece of diorite that was just cracked, and before we even take a closer look at it, I'm sure you can see why this stuff looks so cool when you split it. But as we grab one of our pieces here, you can see how shiny this stuff actually is, which is super cool. I mean, who couldn't fall in love with that? Here is probably my favorite piece of the three. Just look how sparkly that is. We even have some gold looking flakes over here, which I believe is some sort of mica, although I'm not 100% on that. Here's some more of those gold flakes. Super cool. Just look at the difference. This is the outside. This is the inside. Outside, inside. Just blows my mind. Up next, we have another one of these really cool banded rocks. Now, I believe this to also be some type of chert, but it's just not as well banded as the other one, I guess. Still super neat to take a look at though. I mean, I don't know if I'd ever get tired of looking at these. And that says a lot coming from a fossil guy. And if that last piece wasn't quite your style, here we have it in red. Now this is super weird looking because I'm used to the black and white ones, but this is black, red, and white. So that's super neat. Kind of gets messed up on this side, but everywhere else is super cool. especially this face right here. Just when I was starting to wonder where all the fossils went to, I picked up this little guy. And I like to call these rocks fossil balls, because they're essentially just a ball of fossil fragments. More often than not, they consist of crinoids, but I've seen them having brachiopods and corals mixed in as well. So who knows what this piece holds on the inside. So that'll about do it for this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this fossil hunt as much as I did. And if you want to see any more detailed pictures or video of the pieces that we found today, let me know down in the comments and I will be sure to post those for you guys. But until next time, stay safe and rock on.